Mad Dr. Gogo, Peter Lorre. Oh my, this is such a great movie. Uh,
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Hello, everybody. What's going on? Good to see each and every one of you. Welcome to Late Horror Show. I am Dino, and we are ready to talk about Mad Love, 1935. Peter Lorre. Lots of good things about this film. Let me say hi to everybody in the chat. As always, this is not a movie. It's a movie review of sorts, but you know, I don't sit down and script out a 10-minute long like movie review. So it's basically watching a movie, getting together with you guys and just discussing it. So that's why I always kind of say these are movie discussions. Sometimes I get a little deeper than other times, but let's have a good discussion. So here we go. Edward Stewart, good to see you. Good to see you here tonight. Um, Connie Clary, Paul Ham, classic stuff. Yes, we got Assignment Terror for movie night this Friday night for patrons and channel members. And you said make sure I get the good copy or good version of the movie. But yeah, no poll this week. I am going to watch that. I mean, it's got a Dracula, a werewolf, a mummy. It's got it all. So let's see what this movie is about. M, what is going on? Good to see you here tonight. Harry Scott, JLR, hugs to you, hugs to you. Black Roses, I know you're out there. Jimmy D, Ed Stathis, Dino, I'm going to love this. Peter Lorre is Pete Lorre. You know him? Do we need to know something? You know Pete Lorre is one of my all-time faves. How can you go wrong with Peter Lorre? The dude's been, I mean, this is technically his first American film role, although Crime and Punishment was his first. But Mad Love was at the theaters first, so it came out first before Crime and Punishment, even though Crime and Punishment was filmed before. Anyways, this is his first American film debut. Um, he would also go on to do M, which I'll be talking about next, which is even more creepy, I think, and eerie. But anyways, good to see each and every one of you. This was a remake of Hands of Orlok. Yes, a German film with a German silent with Conrad Veidt, and Peter Lorre gives this one the edge. Yes, yes, yes. We will be talking about this one for sure. WTF? What's going on? CM, good to see everybody here. Hey, I did start that other channel on the aquarium hobby and fish hobby, and it's only the beginning of what I'm going to be doing over there. I'm going to be doing terrarium setups, specialty stuff, little ant terrarium that I'm going to build and seal. There's so much stuff I'm going to do over there. So hopefully you guys get to go over there and subscribe for me. Just to, even if you give me a subscribe, whatever. It's called Terra Waltara. I'll put the link in the chat here. Feel free to go over there and give it a join. I'll be doing stuff all the time over there. Anyways, yes, this movie, let's see. This is a horror, romance, sci-fi movie. The sci-fi part comes with the Mad Doctor and what he does scientifically or medically to Mr. Stephen Orlock, played by Colin Clive, which I'll get into in a second. But the sci-fi part of it, there's a little bit of steampunk at the very end of this movie with Peter Lorre, which I find fascinating and very, very cool. It's just a snippet. It's just a costume. I'll talk about it when we get to it because it's a very creepy, airy part at towards the end. But other than that, it's just about Peter Lorre, this mad. Uh, well, he becomes mad, or he is mad surgeon. He's a genius surgeon who works at a hospital or his home. A lot of doctors did stuff out of their own place, their mansion, back in the day. But he worked at this facility where he took care of children. He did a good thing, took care of children with, who couldn't walk, who were paralyzed. And he was so good. Everybody went to him to get their child to walk again, he was a genius surgeon. Anyways, but he was mad. He was mad. WTF, I've heard Peter Lorre described as goblin-esque, and knowing how important lookism is in Hollywood, especially in that era, I find it understandable. His success was a bit limited. I don't. Well, this movie did not have a lot of critical acclaim. It didn't do very well at the box office. It even had 15 minutes taken from it because it was I don't understand, but they were pushing the limits. We were getting out of pre-code, and the Hays Code was kicking in, and there were certain issues that they just didn't want to see on film. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. Back in the day, I think this and like when Peter Lorre first got his start in this picture here, Mad Love, Peter Lorre is amazing. I mean, his acting is superb. Even in Maltese Falcon, I think probably one of his best roles ever. How he played that role was just fantastic. But early on in his career, the serious Peter Lorre was fantastic. Later on, throughout the 50s, 60s, we started to get a little bit more of a comical Peter Lorre, which comes with changing, getting older, and the way he was changing, and he played the part of these silly characters a little bit better. But back in the day, I mean, he just was so good in this movie. He's just so good, being able to make you feel a sense of creepiness or eeriness or evoke emotion just through facial expressions, which Peter Lorre did very, very well, especially the eyebrows. Bald head, eyebrow. He did a lot of the one eyebrow up kind of, expressions coming from the face. He did it so well. It was just so, so good. The novel by Les Mains Dorlac. Yes, yes, yes. Edward Stewart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mad Love is one of the most chilling horror stories ever out on screen, lending a macabre twist on themes of unrequited love and jealousy. Yeah, I mean, when you get down to it, this movie really is about love and a famous, powerful surgeon, Peter Lorre, Dr. Gogol, who has everything he could possibly have except love. It's a story told time and time again, where even though you've got everything you could possibly have in the world, you just can't have love, or you just not the type to be able to have someone fall in love with you. And this is what, and he does pick out a married woman. So that takes us to the other two characters, which is Colin Clive, the main character other than Peter Lorre. Stephen Orlock is his name. He's a great. He's another genius concert pianist. People show up to hear him play the piano. He's fantastic. And he's married to Frances Drake, the actress Frances Drake, Yvonne Orlock. And she's known for it. X-Ray. I forget the film, but anyways, she's beautiful in this film. Very beautiful. I know I say that about all the leading ladies in these 1930s films, but she's beautiful. And they're married, and she plays this theatric. She plays an actress for the theater, this theater of horrors, and I freaking love this theater of horrors. Why can't we have stuff like this now? Why can't we have stuff like this now? And I'll talk about that in a second, the theater of horrors, because it's fantastic. The Invisible Ray was her next film. Thank you, Paul Hamm. That's the movie. And okay, so getting back to Colin Clive, you will know him as Dr. Frankenstein in Frankenstein. And he also played in Bride of Frankenstein. And he plays in this role. The guy was a great actor. And unfortunately, he soon died very early at the age of 37. So unfortunately, Colin Clive ended up dying way too soon. 37 years old. I mean, come on. Jeez, criminy. But yes, it's Colin Clive. Everybody knows. You see his face, you know who he is. And again, getting back to the director Karl Freund, he was also the director of The Mummy, and he had his hands in as a cinematographer in a ton of great movies like The Mummy. Well, he did both roles really, kind of. Metropolis, Dracula, Key Largo, Humphrey Bogart. But the dude was a cinematographer. He knew how to shoot scenes. He knew how to get an image. He knew how to provoke emotion from an image. Shadows, angles. That's what he's known for. And you get a little bit of that in this movie too. If you notice in the background in most of these films, this film in particular, we won't talk about the other ones, but you see a lot of the shadows up on the walls. And it's just something that lends to the black and white film of the days, which is why I say never color these films, never colorize these films, because there's so many little things that make a black and white and a classic and a work of art for film back in the day. And Karl Freund kind of does that, even though he wasn't cinematographer in this film. He did work very closely. It's his film. He's going to make sure things are shot, perfectly. But all the list of films that he worked on were just fantastic. And again, Colin Clive. It's a shame that he died so young, 37. Let me get to the Grand Quigno. Oh wait, what's going on here? Is he here? He used to be a channel. He used to come here all the time. Donovan Belair, what's going on? Good to see you. Trying not to miss anything. I know I'm going on and on, but if you got something to chime in, you can chime in. Harry Scott, what's going on, my friend? Metropolis is timeless. Yes, there are many movies that are just timeless, and Mad Love too. It's a movie of its time, and it ages well, even though it didn't do well at the time because of certain reasons. It eventually has become one of the talked about horror movies of all time, especially that ending scene where you get the steampunk Peter Lorre, which we'll talk about. But let's get back to this. Stephen Orlock and Yvonne Orlock, they are married. They're in Paris. She works at the Theater of Horrors, which, again, let's talk about this. As you pull up to this place, there's a hanging body, hanging, just hanging in front. It's just like, this is cool already. But then you go inside and you've got everybody who works there is like in a costume type, like the lady who takes coats and stuff like that has no head, but yet is taking jackets and coat, has no head. Everybody's dressed up. It's like a, oh God, you can't even call it a haunted house, a modern day haunted house, because that's far from what it is. It's these Theater of Horrors, the way they put this together back in the day, which late 1800s, you had a lot of this kind of stuff going on. Intense a lot of the time. It also reminds me of another film, a silent. Um, the Joker, the face. Oh, please tell me what it is. Paul Hamm. Somebody's going to get it real fast there, man. I just did a review on it maybe a year ago. But the guy with the cut face, the Joker, put it in there. You guys know. Hey, Corpse, what is going on? Good to see you. They were working at the Grand Quigno in Paris. Oh, very cool. Thank you, Paul Hamm. Corpse, Paul L, what is going on? Hi, love and support. Thank you. Real paranormal supporter. Man who laughs. Thank you. You're dealing with a guy here, everybody, who, I don't know what's going on, but it's my whole life. It's things get in there and they go out quickly. I know that happens with age, but it's just something I've always had. So how can I forget Man Who Laughs? But I did. So as I'm talking about Mad Love, I can't remember an even better film, Man Who Laughs. But this kind of reminds me of that, because of the theater and the kind of, plays they would put on the stage. That's kind of what's going on here. It also reminds me of, sorry guys, you guys know me by now. Anyways, it also reminds me, of course, and a lot of people have talked about this, like a Phantom of the Opera. The Mad Doctor, or the Phantom of the Opera pianist, kind of same thing. Madly in love with the actress, and even has a statue or wax type of figure in. So there are a lot of parallels. In this one, there is a wax statue of the actress Yvonne Orlok. In the film, there is a wax statue of her, and it's funny because a lot of the scenes, Conrad Veidt, yes, he's the one that plays the Man Who Laughs. Yes, it's all coming back to me now. Oh God, that film was great. But Yvonne Orlok, the wax statue. There's also many scenes where she will stand there and she plays the statue. Most of the time it works well because the camera's back a little bit and she's shown from the distance. And you're like, holy hell, that's a great wax figure. But then when you see the real wax figure, in the film, you're like going, oh, big difference. But so I could see why he would want to put her there and use her as a wax figure. There's points even where you could see her breathing, but I can overlook that. I mean, come on. It doesn't take away from the film at all. Although at the very end, there's some, and we'll talk about it. Hey, Katie Cook, what's going on? Hi, Paul Hamm. I thought Colin Clive passed from tuberculosis unless they just used that as a cover story for alcoholism. Yeah. It was a cover story, Katie. He suffered from depression and drank for years. Yes, Paul Hamm. Trying not to get too dark there, but yes, Katie Cook. That is exactly what happened. And family members, close friends, they all said the same thing. So yes. Unfortunately, I mean, listen, it kind of goes with the film and Peter Lorre's character, Dr. Gogol. You can have it all. Colin Clive, man, the dude had, you think people have it all. Listen, you can be a millionaire, a billionaire, whatever. And if you're just not happy, it all doesn't mean nothing, right? If you're built a certain way, your mind's wired a certain way, it's really not going to matter too much, right? So, anyways, so that's kind of what we got. I love the theater of horrors, and just coolest thing. But and she comes out and portrays these scenes of torture and probably sadomasochism and all these other things. But and Peter Lorre's character, Dr. Gogol, is always known at this theater, and they know, hey, the doctor's here. Um, you know, he sits in a booth. I love the angle that they take on the camera where he's sitting up in the seats. Um, and the curtain's just kind of showing half his face as he's watching down on the stage, looking at the actress. And just in his eyes, you can see how much he wants her. He wants her love. And it's just, I mean, listen, if you frame up and shoot everything perfect, Peter Lorre's face, it's just fantastic. And it emotes everything that he's trying to get across. But he comes there all the time to watch her, and everybody knows it. But she's getting ready to leave with her husband out of the country. And he gets wind of this, and he doesn't like it very well. And he comes up to her dressing room and kind of confronts her, and really does not like it. And you can see that she starts to get a little bit frightened because of the way he's acting, in front of her. That's no way of getting a woman there. Dr. Gogol. Hey, Kathy, what's going on? Good to see you. Hugs to you. Obsession, Insanity, Jealousy describes this film. Yes, Edward Stewart. Hello, Dino, and everyone in the chat. Sorry I'm late. Lost track of time watching Aquarium's Tour and Dino's other channel. Yeah, no, I hope everybody goes over there, because I've got a lot of cool. That's nothing. Like what I put up there already, even, that's just to get stuff up there. I mean, I'm really going to go die hard on some of the setups that I'm going to work on over there, especially the one terrarium I'm going to set up with ants and all kinds of different life forms. Okay, that's all I'll say. With plant life, its own ecosystem, it will end up closed off. There will be periodic periods where I have to feed. And these are times I'm going to film and I'm going to show. I'm going to show everything, the process, the life, a year down the road, 2 years, how it's changed, all of that stuff. I'm just so mesmerized by it that it's not, I'm Dr. Frankenstein and I'm creating life. And that's what I'm doing. So the little hamster was adorable. I was in the pet store and I just snapped that real quick. And I'm like, oh, that is just too funny, because it was cracking me up. And yeah, YouTube Shorts is something else. Absolutely fantastic show. I love what you guys do. Well, thank you, Mike. Pucciarelli, Mike. I think that's it. Drake, Lorre, Clive all did excellent acting. Yes. Okay, so that's where we're at right now with them going off, leaving, and Peter Lorre's character, Dr. Gogol, knows. And this is when he gets real upset. But there's not a whole lot he can do. He does come down, and she's cutting a cake. They're all saying goodbye and everything to her. And they bring him over to give a kiss to her, because I guess everybody's going to kiss her. And he pulls her in and says, I'm going to kiss you. I'm going to kiss you. And he just kisses her right on the lips. And I'm just like, holy hell. Of course she's frightened, but she knows how much he loves her, which is going to play a part in the next part of this movie. Listen, I could wind this up in 5 minutes if I wanted, but I'm going on and talking about it. So the next thing that ends up happening is, what did I miss something? That was pretty cool, Dino. Thank you. He goes for the big embrace. Yes, Paul Ham, very, very much so. But he ends up leaving after that, knowing that he can't have her, and just he does go back. So he doesn't totally lose it. You know what I mean? He doesn't totally lose it yet. Although you could say that he's mad with love from the beginning. But when does he go off the deep end? Okay, not quite yet. He's still a surgeon. He's still doing his work. He's able to do that even knowing. But he does pay the truck driver who sees the wax figure of Ivan Orlok going out the door, and he says, I think he gives him 50 pounds or something along that lines to bring it to my address. And so they bring it to his room. It's in his bedroom or one of his rooms, where he can watch it every night, dress it. He does have an alcoholic maid, servant to who has this, not a parrot, but a cockatiel on her shoulder. She's always drunk. So there's always, in this movie, in a lot of the movies back in the day, there's always some comic relief, and she kind of gives it to you. So you get that, the drunken maid, and you also get the reporter, who is Ted Healy. He plays Reagan. He's a reporter, and anybody might know Ted Healy if you're a Three Stooges fan. He technically was going to be one of the Stooges until, thank God, that ended up changing. But he was, he played a part in the Stooge universe, believe it or not. And thank God he didn't become a stooge, because we got Larry, Curly, and Moe, and that's who we want. Just like my fish. Anyways, just subscribe to your fish channel, Dino. I'll check it out after this one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just going to try to get as many subs as I can, just to build the channel up and all that. And I'll be posting videos over there all the time. Thanks for posting about this. Okay, I almost missed it. Dave Buffet, hey, what is going on? Yepers, I mentioned Ted. Very cool. He worked with the Stooges in the beginning. Yep, Paul Hamm. Yep. Hey Mo, hey Mo, hey Larry. So what ends up happening at this point is Stephen Orlok gets on a train, and she's going to meet him on his destination. I think it was the UK that they were headed to. But nevertheless, she's taking a train trip back to his home. But on the way, on the train, you're also introduced to another character who is Rollo the knife thrower. And he's played by, oh man, let me. It's not a big deal to know who it is, but let me see. Where's the details there? Well, I don't got it. He's a character you would know too, which is funny. I think Edward Brophy is Rollo, and if you see his face, he's comic relief in a lot of these films back in the day. But here he plays a criminal who is a knife thrower, and he meets him on the train. Train crashes, and there's people dying left and right. She ends up going to the train to try to find him, and Rollo's fine. They're bringing him out with the handcuffs. He's doing great. Rollo the candy, yeah, good old Rollos are fantastic. Reading it, saw that 10 times fast. Yeah, so Rollo did come out, but unfortunately, Stephen Orlok, the pianist, is fine, but his hands get crushed during the train derailment. And what ends up happening is she finds him, Ivan. They bring him out, and the doctor says, "Well, he's going to live. He's going to be fine, but we are going to have to amputate his hands." And she remembers what a great surgeon Dr. Gogol is, Peter Lorre's character. So she says, I want him. Can you please take him to Dr. Gogol? So they take an ambulance and they take him over to Dr. Gogol's. She's going to meet him there. Dr. Gogol was ready to amputate too, because he says, there's not much we can do here. We're going to have to amputate. But she begs and begs when she shows up, please, I trust in you. So she's kind of using his infatuation and his love to get her to perform a surgery that she don't know if it will work or not, but Dr. Gogol thinks that he can do it. And it's funny too, because as he's at the table, he does have another doctor that works with him. Guess who it is? It's none other than Charlie Chan's number one son, Key Luke. Key Luke, the man, the legend in, over 100 films. You would know him from Kung Fu, The Blind Master. Take this stone out of my hand. Key Luke was fantastic. But he plays a bit role in here as Dr. Wong. But he was right. So he plays, and he ends up, okay, I won't jump the gun here. So what he ends up doing is saying, okay, I will try my best. So during all of this, Dr. Gogol is infatuated with seeing hangings. I guess in Paris at this time, there were still not a hanging. Rollo's death was by guillotine. So his head was chopped off. So, and that's not uncommon. Some of those countries over there were still doing hangings and guillotines, and heck, it still may go on now. I don't know. But it was a known practice at the time. So Rollo was guillotined, and he wanted to watch. So Rollo was there, or not Rollo, but Dr. Gogol was there watching the head get chopped off. And then he drove away back to his practice. Charlie from Arsenic. Oh, Charge from Arsenic and Old Lace. Love Peter Lorre in that film. Arsenic and Old Lace. But one of the, again, I've got to put together my comfort films really, really soon. Arsenic and Old Lace is on that list, needless to say. Linda, what is going on, Linda? Good to see you. Good to see you. Key Luke family was well schooled in martial arts as well as his family, thus leading him on the show Kung Fu. Yes. Key Luke lived to be in his 90s. I forget what age he died at, but yep. Long age for him. And good for him. But yes, so we got him in the surgery room performing the surgery, and he actually got them to bring the body of Rollo, because he would do experiments at this facility too. How else were doctors to learn back in the day, even now? But they have limitations today. Back in the day, you would have people bring, especially in the Victorian era. We all know that story. But they would bring the dead bodies or criminals to doctors to be experimented on, so they can figure out, how to cure diseases, how to do whatever. And he was even able to convince the police department there to the chief, whoever, send the body over. And he eventually does. And he takes the hands of Rollo, the knife thrower. And he surgically, like a genius, and oh my God, Frankenstein moment, I've sewn them on. I did it. Once he saw the blood flowing through the hands, he knew it would work. And it's very interesting too, because after the surgery is performed, and he eventually unwraps the hands of Stephen Orlock, the great pianist, played by Colin Clive. You see who played Dr. Henry Frankenstein. It's strange to see him with his hands bare with scars like the monster, um, hands attached. It's just an interesting correlation. Soon to do The Bride of Frankenstein the same year. Anyways, they were still whipping people in Delaware during the 30s. Listen, I believe that, Eds, for sure. Okay. Anyways, hopefully I'm not boring you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the discussion. So what ends up happening is he successfully does that. So there's a long process that goes on. We're quickly getting to the end of this because with these hands, and this is the whole key to this movie, it's a flaw of sorts in the movie, but listen, it's a horror. You're not supposed to believe that some of this stuff really can happen, although nowadays I think they can do some of this stuff, but nevertheless, being that they're hands of this killer, this knife thrower, the whole plot of the rest of this movie really is Stephen Orlock. He just can't play the piano no more, and he just can't get it. It's just not the same. And the flaw is that over all of the time that he, healed his hands being, surgically, put on his stumps, whatever you want to call them. Thank you. And no tissue rejection either. Yeah, I know. But during this time, after healing, you're playing the piano, I mean, it's a movie, I know, but you would think at one point he would look down at his hands and he would, because he says they don't know that it's not his hands. He believes it's his hands. His wife said it's his hands. The doctor says it's his hands, so he believes it. But if you look down, you would go, these aren't my hands. They look nothing like, hands have different pigmentation, size and fingers, just, all different. You would know if they're your hands or not, right? I mean, come on. But he doesn't. He doesn't believe it's his. He believes it's his hands. But he soon finds out that there's a connection between Rollo, the knife thrower, because he starts doing things when he's angry. I guess what starts to happen to Stephen Orlock has nothing to do with his mind. I guess the hands take over and cause him to what he thinks he's doing is killing, whereas he's great at knife throwing. And how that happened, that he's great at knife throwing because the hands are on his arms now, has no connection to the mind. So it's a bit of a flaw, but listen, all movies do that, right? All movies do that. It is what it is. So yeah, so he starts just throwing knives and stuff, and he starts to figure out that, hey, these might not be my hands, maybe these are Rollo's. And yeah, he confronts his father for money because they're losing money because he can't perform at his concerts. And he just, Dr. Gogol just continues to be infatuated with this actress, and keeps using that to his advantage while the wax figure is upstairs, and the reporter keeps coming to try to figure out what's going on. But we're getting kind of to the end here, and what ends up happening at the end, those hands are possessed. Yeah, the hands possessed the body and the mind. I mean, it's very strange, very strange. But what ends up happening is she confronts Dr. Gogol and just blasts him and makes him feel like crap. And I think that's where he goes over the edge, and he loses it. And he says, because she says, I want nothing to do with you no more. You're not, everything that's going on. And so that's where he loses it, and she goes away, and what ends up happening is Dr. Gogol himself starts to crack up, and there's a point towards the end where, and this is the cool part where I like where you start to really get a snippet of the horror part of this, the side of this, because everything's coming to a climax. But Dr. Gogol, Peter Lorre's character, gets this idea that he can pretend that he's Rollo the knife thrower in real life. He can say that Dr. And he does. He sits at a table with Stephen Orlock, and he tells him, and he's got these gold hands. This is so steampunk, it's not even crazy. But he's got gold hands, like up to the wrist, gold hands. He's got these glasses on. It's so steampunk. He's got this leather strapped steampunk type, neck brace that's holding up. He just looks so freaking cool. It's not even funny. And he's sitting at a table talking to, and you can see his teeth too, and gum line and everything. It's just very, very well done. And he's saying, I'm Rollo. I'm the guy who was died, and you've got my hands. And he laughs hysterically. And he tells him that, of course, you are doing the killing, and because his father ended up dying from a knife throw, and they're saying it's his son, Stephen Orlock, that did it. Where no, it was really Dr. Gogol who put this whole concoction together to kind of get rid of Stephen Orlock, so that maybe there's a chance that he can have Yvonne as his. Who knows? I mean, why he thinks he could possibly have her, I don't know. But he does frame him up that way. But the police department, everybody, forensics, whatever you want to call them at the time, they're seeing that everything has this fingerprints of Rollo the knife thrower. All the fingerprints are there of Rollo, and even his hands. They said, I don't know what's going on here, but all fingerprints lead to Rollo, but that's not really going to matter in him going to jail, so I guess the fingerprints don't matter. But just the way he looked as well was, yes, it's why it's one of the images that will stand the test of time. Just a snapshot of Dr. Gogol, Peter Lorre, in that type of steampunk kind of Rollo outfit, costume, whatever. It's going to forever be known. I mean, it's, we will be going on. We're about 90 years here, and it's one of them. You still see it when you go old school horror, right? He tells Orlock that Gogol put his head back on. That Gogol put, yeah, exactly. So at this point, Stephen Orlock believes that he did it, and the cops are saying, oh, the fingerprints leading to this and that. So yeah, there's all of that going on there. Did I miss anything else? His metal gauntlets are great. Yeah, I would love to get together a costume like that for Halloween. That would be so cool. But he goes back to his house in kind of this mad kind of drunkenness, and who's there is Yvonne Orlock is there to confront him. But what ends up happening is the alcoholic maid pushes her up to the room because she thinks the wax figure is alive and you got to get back in your room. So now she's kind of trapped in this room where Dr. Gogol ends up coming up the stairs and stumbling and sitting, and she's trying to pretend she's the wax figure. This is the part where I'm looking at her real intently. And I do think it's cool when she's straight faced. I mean, there you're looking at it and going, wow, she's doing a damn good job of staying still, but she's breathing, and you can see it going in and out, in and out. And I'm like going, oh, I can see you breathing, but it's all good because the Vacancy Horror, what's going on? I know it's off topic, but I love your movie posters. Thank you, Christoph. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so as he's up in this room and they're both locked in, there's a point where the bird's flying around and kind of scrapes and makes her bleed on her cheek. And that's when he kind of confronts her and is like, because he thinks that, oh my God, I'm having hallucinations. And there is a lot of that. There starts when he does go mad, Peter Lorre's character, Dr. Gogol, there's a lot of like flashing of hallucinations and stuff and mirrors and it's just great movie making, just to get the point across that this guy is just plumb loco. He's going crazy, and but when he's up there, he sees her and he's telling her everything that's going on now and stuff, and he's knowing that he's going to have to kill her. He's got her on there. He's not going to have her for his own. So she kind of passes out on this couch. And if anything, agreed, the Playbills Dino posts are amazing. Well, thank you, Ed. I really appreciate that. So he's got her on the couch, and it is one of the more eerie, anytime a woman's being choked, especially how he does it. He takes her long hair and wraps it around her neck, one side to the other, and starts to choke her, and he's getting ready to choke her to death. And it's just a great scene watching that. And at the same time, coming up the steps is the police and Stephen Orlock, who at the police station stole the knife from the cop's desk. So, there you go. So he steals the knife and he runs off with the cops. And thankfully he did. Otherwise, maybe one of the cops. But anyways, they run up the steps. Edward Stewart. Now Dino needs a London After Midnight to go along with them. Well, during my aquarium tour, I kind of showed a lot of my posters up on the wall. So if you didn't see that, definitely check that out. Elise was being choked last time I saw her. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. No. She'll have a video up on Friday talking about Basket Case, the franchise. So Basket Case is a classic B horror movie, and it spawned 3 movies, and Basket Case is fantastic. And she will be talking about that. That will go up Friday at 7 p.m. like usual. She missed this past week because she's filled up with her theater practices for The Little Mermaid. Nothing horror, but Little Mermaid. So anyways, Elise video this Friday. And yes, if you missed that, again, I should release that by itself on the channel. Maybe I will. So choking her there, and they all run up. Steve Orlock kind of pulls open the little door that's got these bars in there. So, if he's in the room and he don't want nobody to come in, he could crack it open. But he opens it up, and right before he completely chokes her out, he throws the knife right into the back of Dr. Gogol, killing him. And, it's a very abrupt ending to the film. She survives. If he still is going crazy with the hands, who the hell knows? There was never a part 2. I wouldn't expect there to be a part 2. Geez, no, this is a one and done. But it's just that abrupt ending where it just, there you go. So, and that's what's in the basket. Jeff Paget. Yes. Me and Ted did a full commentary on Basket Case years ago, and Ted sat with the basket next to him the entire time, and I kind of CGI'd in a little something, and he pops out at the end of our commentary out of the basket. So I did, listen, I did some very experimental stuff back when the channel just started. So the Basket Case commentary, at the end, something pops out of the basket, and I did that all by special effects, just like I did our Invisible Man commentary, where me and Ted both sit and disappear and become invisible from the lidocaine. We take off the bandages and we become invisible. So yes, we had a lot of fun back in the day. Edward Stewart, Elise does a great job. Listen, she knows her stuff, and she can retain it a lot better than I can. But hopefully we'll have her to do Sundays too, eventually. I think this week again, the theater will be up until mid-April. What is today's date? Wednesday, March 20, mid-April, or towards the end of April, something like that. But anyways, yeah, it's good to have you here, Jeff. Yeah, taking part. So that is Mad Love. It is a fantastic film. I don't know what more to say about it. Me going in depth like that. Listen, you guys have all seen the movie. You guys know what it's all about. So we're just really having fun here. Listen to me recap certain things and bumble around the movie like I do. That's what you're going to get with me. Not all the times. Sometimes I'm very pumped up for the movie that we're talking about, and have a lot to say. But sometimes I bumble through some of these discussions, and it's just fun to talk about. Lots of great people in this film, man. And I get like excited over the simplest things, like Key Luke being in there from Charlie Chan movies. It's like, oh my god, some of my favorite films of all time, Charlie Chan. Not greatest films as they're the best films, but I love the Charlie Chan's franchise. I'd also like to touch on. Let's see if anybody gives this a bad review. I always like doing this, and let's go ahead and do it. Where are the reviews? Come on. Let me get down. Where are you, reviews? Here we go. User reviews. Let's see if anybody gave this a 1-star review. No 1-star reviews. 2 stars? No. 3 stars? No. Oh. 4 stars? No. 5 stars? No. Oh, this is very good. Okay, I finally hit a 6 out of 10, but that's pretty damn good. That is pretty damn good that nobody gave it a 5 or below. I think that's mad respect for the film. Charlie Chan in Honolulu, Mantan Moorland. Oh, if it wasn't for, listen, I think the movies would be great, the Charlie Chan movies by themselves. But what makes them better is number 1, son, number 2, son, all of the sons that end up coming back. Benson Fong was another son that would be on there. He also had a daughter. I don't even know if he numbered the daughter. I can't remember. But it was mainly Key Luke at the beginning, then Benson Fong. And Benson Fong would always play alongside a sidekick, usually Mantan Moorland, which if you don't know who that is, you definitely got to go check out. Just do a search, Mantan Moorland. It's just unbelievable. I give it an 8 out of 3, says Connie Clary. 8.3 out of 10. Okay. And I forget the other sidekick in the Charlie Chan's. But he was also funny. He was a little bit more slow. He played in Ghost Breakers. He was Bob Hope's sidekick in there. Again, always controversial for to talk about now. Even back in the day, it was talked about. It's the stereotypes, but not too many like this film in this way. All the women in those films were beautiful as well. Oh, Dave Plouffe, they always got a beauty to play the leading role in the Charlie Chan films. Yeah, Edward Stewart. Yeah, listen. I know you love the horror, man, and so do I. And these old horror and Mad Love is a great one. I think the next one that I'm doing is M, directed by Fritz Lang, and I mean that's even creepier just for the fact that he plays this killer who's killing children. So that's going to be an interesting one to talk about. Willie Best. Thank you, Paul Ham. Yes, Willie Best. Again, a name I should have known that. He plays a great sidekick, especially in Ghostbreakers, but he usually plays the sidekick in some of the Charlie Chan films too. It's him mainly and Mantan Moreland. There is a point where there's a taxi driver, I forget his name, who ends up playing the side, but it's mainly those two. Sure as Dino, we chatted about it way back. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Um, yeah, no, yeah. So I'm not sure what more to say on this film. Really, I would say to you guys again, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you guys got any questions, ask me. Please ask me some questions now, because it's top of the hour. We've done an hour, and I'm done talking about the movie. Hell, it's fantastic. I don't know what more to say about it. One of Peter Lorre's eh, one of his best, but all of the movies I love of Peter Lorre are one of his best. Still think Maltese Falcon is his best acting he's done in a film. So that's just me. That's just me. Arsenic and Old Lace, he plays a great part in that too. But for these serious roles that he's done earlier on in his career, I mean, you can't go wrong. Just glad you did this one. Thank you. Thank you. Jeff Paget's sorry. Was something said? Yeah, just watch the. Yeah, just I don't know what you said, Jeff, but yeah, somebody took care of it evidently. Anyways, anywho, did you decide on Friday's movie night? Yes, it is. Friday's movie night is Assignment Terror, Dave Plouffe. Assignment Terror, aka Dracula versus Dracula versus the Mummy or Dracula versus Frankenstein. Anyways, Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman. They're all listen. They're all in there, and it's a Spanish version or a Spanish horror film. And yes, Paul Ham. Yeah, he pushed me digging into all of that, and I'm like going, Dracula, Frankenstein, the mummy. What's going on? So yes, I've got to see these. So we're going to watch it together. Assignment Terror. So we are going to watch it together for movie night on Patreon and for the channel members. Already put the Cosme link in both of those. So the links are there. So hopefully more people start coming out and watching them with us. I like him in The Man Who Knew Too Much. It's another great one. But I'm excited to see Assignment Terror, and why not do it on movie night? I know Dave said, we should do these on either on movie night. So yeah, I'm going to do it. No poll this week. It's just going to be that. So there you go. What else do I got coming up here? Listen, I got History of Old Time Radio tomorrow night. It's going to premiere at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know if people are enjoying that series. I know it's just cut and paste kind of facts. You know what I mean? It's just the facts, like Dragnet says, just the facts, ma'am. I'm going to talk gangbusters. There's a lot of good information in what I'm saying. for the show and air dates. If you really like just knowing everything about the show, then that's what those are for. It's not for entertainment's sake. Although I filmed it earlier today, and there were, listen, you know me, it's one of those days where I talk and talk, and I start to stumble across my words. So, and I'm not going to edit the video. I sit, start, end it. I think everything in between, goof ups, you know, goofs, all of that stuff. If you take it away, it doesn't make it as special. So even though sometimes I goof up, it's what makes me me, and it's what personalizes the videos that I do. Am I the best at what I do? Hell no. Hell no. By no means at all. Do I know everything there is to know about every film I talk about? Listen, I hope that I know some stuff, and I do enough research that it sticks. But I'm here to have fun with you guys and just kind of create a community and just chat and discuss and have fun. And again, like I say all the times, thank God Dave Ploufe's in the chat a lot of the times. Thank God Paul Ham is there. Yeah, the Blind Dead series, I had to push that back because of I didn't watch it the other day because my kids were over and they're more important. So I pushed the Blind Dead series back to April 9th, Tombs of the Blind Dead, and then Return of the Living Dead, 1973, will be after that one. So this Saturday night, guess what we will have for trivia night? I hope everybody will be there for it. But for trivia night, it is The Wicker Man from 1973. There you go. Wait a second. Wait, no, don't get this wrong, Dino. Yes. Okay. Hey, that plaque behind you isn't for amateurs. Yeah, no, it's not for amateurs. But listen, again, I am who I am, and I guess maybe that's what. Listen, I don't pull in hundreds of live viewers during a stream, but I've got a close knit group of people that I actually care about, and I love each and every one of you guys. I mean, hell, if Dave Plouffe stopped being in my chat, I know something would be up. Kathy, Edward, Connie, all of you guys, man. And now, like, people like Paul Ham really becoming a part of the show. Harry Scott. I mean, listen, much love to you, man. I did talk about Dennis and the show, the history of Old Time Radio's Gangbusters tomorrow, just because we had a running gag every time I played Gangbusters, so I put it in there. But yeah, no, it's just, that's what's special to me. That's really what's special. Everybody loves the Old Time Radio shows. Listen, I know that's what pulls in everybody. You know what I mean? It helps everybody out. It's what people love. Everything else is just a little bit extra. You know, I do love talking horror. I do love the trivia nights. I love everything that I kind of come up with here on the channel. But again, I go over and over and say I'm not the best, but maybe there's just a little bit of something about me that, you guys like to be here and be part of the family. So there you go. Yes, hi, boy donuts. There you go. So many members, everyone has something to offer. Yeah. And that's the thing too. I post so much content that it's hard. It's hard for everybody to get to watch everything. So I understand that, I get it. There's a 12-hour stream overnight tonight. And it is Johnny Dollar again tonight. Listen, every now and then you're going to get 2-3 nights in a row of just surprise streams because I'm so busy with stuff. Like I said, my son, Edward Stewart, my son doing great in track and field. It just started up, indoor or outdoor track. And hopefully he's getting to pole vault. Hopefully his goal is 11 and a half feet. as a 14-year-old freshman who's about 6'1", 6'2", somewhere around there, long jump, his goal is 18 feet this year. So if my 14-year-old son, who is as big as he is, and he can do that as a freshman, I'm going to be elated. He did try for the first time hurdles, and you can't just jump right into high hurdles. And they did that to him. And he was keeping up with the best halfway through, and then he fell and he got disqualified because he walked around. And you cannot do that in track and field. You stay in your lane, or you may hurt somebody or yourself in the process of somebody running into you. So he learned a lesson. But the coach said, listen, this was the first time you ever did it. So it's not your fault. We should have told you this, but he didn't. So, but it's just so funny. But man, I am loving it, and I'm soaking all of that up. That's just my life right now. I just to see him do all of that. So if you get nights like tonight, where listen, tonight's nothing to. They're all fantastic Johnny Dollar episodes, but there's no time stamps. I think at times not knowing what's coming up next is a good thing. I think people like at times timestamps help, especially when you want to listen to entire collections. But there are times when to just have a 12-hour stream, you know it's Johnny Dollar, but what is going to be played? You know what I mean? Just like last night, Sherlock Holmes. You weren't quite sure what was going to be played, but they were all great episodes. So you can always be assured of that. You're going to hear a good lineup tonight. I just started doing these shorts. I just activated it or whatever. I don't know how it works. I'm new to YouTube Shorts, but look towards something interesting for the YouTube Shorts too. Many old-time radio stuff coming up. So that's going to be kind of cool because how? Well, you'll find out. You'll find out. I found your channel only a year ago, and I think your stuff is pretty great. Donovan Belair says, well, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Last night was some great shows. Yes, Sherlock Holmes. I played a little bit of each Sherlock. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, at the beginning, there were 4 Bruce and Conway, but I mixed it up throughout the entire night where you got, I think, at least 4 or 5 different Sherlock Holmes. So there you go. Keep me posted on your son on track and field and Mary's too. Listen, once the meets start up, I will definitely keep people posted on Discord for sure. And when I take pictures, for sure you're going to get. Yeah, I'm proud dad. So there you go. Let's see. No Daisy Dukes either. What the Blind Dead. Hopefully soon I'll get my Patreon back. No worries, Edward. Yeah, much love to you, man. Well, hey, okay, I'm trying to get down here, make sure I didn't wreck the place. Yeah. What's okay? This is Connie Clary. Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, Connie Clary's got something going on. She's starting up her channel. When she does, I'll let everybody know about your channel, Connie. We will definitely get the word out about the channel that you're starting up. As with all the other people, I found your channel. Okay, got that. Keep me posted on your. Okay, there we go. It doesn't take long to get hooked on this channel. It's like a good cup of coffee at status. Well, thank you. Yeah, that's all compliments, man. I did though. I did think. I mean, listen, the aquarium video tour didn't do too bad on the channel, but I figured, you know what? I'm going to go and just put it on another channel. And here's the link if you haven't joined already. Expect big things over there. And I'm not joking. That is going to be a work of love because of how much I enjoy it. So definitely go over there and subscribe for me if you haven't already. Still blown away by Connie's Halloween display. Yeah. Oh, and Dave Lafay did say, let's see, yeah, what April 13th or 12th? I forget what we said because the 13th I can't, Dave, but technically the 13th is Art Bell's the anniversary of his passing, and me and Dave are going to reflect on Coast to Coast AM and Art Bell and the shows and guests and our favorite streams and stuff like that. And hell, I got a lot to talk about. That is probably going to be on April 12th, Wednesday. I think that's what we said. I'll look back again on that. I would like to see how one of the aquariums are created. Fascinating with the different levels of material. Yeah, the substrate and all that stuff. I've done. That's the only thing, because I didn't know I was going to start a channel, Dave, on the hobby, but I've become so entrenched in the hobby that I didn't film me putting them together. And listen, they're all, if you look at the tour and the videos I put up on that channel already, how clear the tanks are that have nothing in them. The two vases are doing the best, and I haven't touched them in 2 months. You're supposed to do 50% water changes every week. You know what? Larry Curly and Mo vase, I haven't touched it. I haven't touched it, and it's crystal clear. It's got just the right amount of foliage. I got one little ram horn snail in there to keep the bottom clean, and it's Larry Curly and Mo 3 Daniels. I've got 2 bigger vases coming in, bigger ones, and I have an awesome project with a scape that is going to look awesome, and I am going to film me creating that 100%. What it's going to be on that channel, whether I do it live or not, I'm not sure, but I'm definitely going to record it. The entire process of me putting in the substrate, the idea that I got, which I'm not giving away yet, because it's going to look cool. It involves a path. But anyways, yeah, Ed Dames. Oh, Dave, we will talk about Ed Dames, man. The kill shot my ass. I could go on and say I'm remote viewing and give everybody a scare on what anybody could claim a kill shot's coming from the sun. The sun releases solar flares all the time, every day. Well, there are dead periods where the sun's activity kind of dies down, and then you get these big active periods. But some of the sun flares that burst out, I mean, it can destroy the earth. But the odds are, what, trillions to one, but he was able to get by for, yeah, see, I'm going on about it, Dave, and I got to stop. We'll talk about that on that day. Art Bell, bring back some memories. Dino, did you ever finish up the Goulardi collage from Christmas? Oh, I'm halfway through them, but I do got them. Every time I get a chance that I'm laying down right before bedtime, I go through them. So they're in my collection of things I really love and I always will pull out. So they're there, Ed, and I appreciate. Yeah, I hiccup right on it. See, if I would have recorded this, I would have cut that out. No, I wouldn't have. I was this a sip of ginger ale. Cheers, everybody. Ginger ale. Yeah, no, you ginger ale. This is great. You're going to talk about Art Bell too. I know I'm in the right place now. Oh yeah, Ed, I do a paranormal one tonight. I haven't done one in a little while. That's something I get in the mood for a period of time, and I get really good guests. Then it kind of dies down a little bit. Listen, on this channel, I other than the old time radio shows overnight, I do what I feel like doing at the time. If I don't, it just is what it is. But lots of paranormal stuff on the channel, for sure. Maybe he could remote view my colonoscopy. Oh, don't say that word, Dave. I got one coming up on the 10th. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, first time ever, too. But because my good friend Dennis said, you need to do it, RTN Productions, Highboy Donuts, he says, do not get that done. Listen, it was a little too late for our friend, but he made me say, push the message. Always get it when you need to. So, anyways, horror junkie for life. I used to have a crush on Peter Lorre. Yeah, I know I'm weird. No, listen, I get it. I had a crush on Betty Davis for a short period of time, but then she became scary. She became scary really quick. But anyways, I don't. But I get you. Still love the paranormal streams, Edward Stewart. No, I know you do. And listen, there'll be more paranormal into the night. But yeah, it's just. I mean, I actually think I got a couple lined up. I just gotta post them. So yeah, it is what it is. But again, one last time, here's the link to the other channel. Even if you don't like aquariums and stuff and you just like me, go over there and subscribe. And I thought I came up with a pretty cool name. It's called Terra Waltara. It's kind of a fictional last name, Waltara, kind of water, terra being terra firma, hard ground, soil, earth, land, whatever. Terra Waltara. So combining soil and water together, Terra Waltara, I thought was a cool name for the channel. I loved it, so I just stuck with it. And maybe that channel will take off, and I'm hoping so, because listen, the ecosystems I'm about to create are going to be really cool. The biggest project to date that I am going to work on is an aquarium, a closed terrarium that is going to be closed off, that is going to inhabit with isopods, an ant population, live plants, maybe some kind of water source. Still thinking on drawing everything out, thinking of it, getting it all down. We'll have the names of all the things that I put in it. It will be somewhat of its own ecosystem, a substrate, with a water source that hopefully can contain its own. Listen, I'm probably going to have to do certain feedings, but this is where you're going to see changes in the ant population, the isopod population, any other life that pops up or that I add. So this is going to be cool. I've never tackled anything like this before, and I think it's going to be awesome. I've been interested in stuff like that since I was a kid. So me being able to dive into it now is going to be fantastic. Anyways, I think I've been, I've almost made it to 9:30. I still need to grow my Venus flytrap. Yes, Edward. Yes, yes. And maybe I can incorporate a Venus flytrap in the closed ecosystem, just in case. Well, see, but there would not be any fruit flies. You never know what actually might develop. A lot of times there's mosquito eggs left in soil that last for a long time. So when you take soil from the outside, and that's why I just did a first day video on the jar terrarium that I did. And that video is going up on the channel probably tomorrow, just to see the first day. And I am going to do another video in a week, and I will do weekly updates. I already see worms crawling up from the soil that I scraped the leaves away from and dug up the soil and put it in there. It's basically, I built up the soil, some rocks, some branches, some moss that's in there. Again, I should have filmed me putting all of that in there and the journey, but I do got the jar. It's closed. It's not opening for a year. It's going to be pretty darn cool. I already see some worms. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm hoping other life forms start to show themselves in there and grow. from all the seeds or things like that, the moss. We'll see. Love Venus Flytrap on WKRP. Dave, what are we going to do with you? RTN was so funny. Mrs. Commentary. You better believe it, Horror Junkie for life. He was something else. Trademark the name Dino so no one else can take it. I will definitely get that for sure. Let's Skype in the next day or two. I had one because I lost a friend at 49. We had been friends since we're 7. Get it checked. Dave, are you talking to me? You mean silent film stream? Dino, he wanted you, me, and him to do a silent film stream. Sucks that I didn't have that happen. Let's see. Dave, let's Skype in the next day or two. Do you mean me, Dave? Are you talking to me? We can for sure if you're talking to me. If it's about the colonoscopy, jeez, oh my God. But yeah, okay. So yeah, with that said, you guys, I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to get ready for overnight tonight. Johnny Dollar. Hopefully you can settle in, get a good night's sleep with some Johnny Dollar surprise mix. Not sure what I'm going to play tomorrow, but thumbs up, you guys, and all that good stuff. And I will see you guys soon. Well, yes, you are the only one here. Okay, Dave. Yeah, no, let's do it. I definitely would like to talk. So I'll send you a link. We'll figure out time. So